In the heart of Rome, among bustling markets and grand villas, stood the Domitius household, known not for honor or virtue, but for whispered treacheries. The family's wealth had grown not through hard work, but through betrayal, blackmail, and shadowy deals. Their marble home, though splendid, was seen as cursed by the neighbors, for every coin that entered had been tainted by another's ruin. Lucius Domitius, the patriarch, carried a smile that could charm a senator yet conceal venom sharper than a gladiator's blade. He bribed officials to secure trade monopolies, crushing smaller merchants under heavy debts. His wife, Flavia, whispered false rumors into noble ears, destroying rivals' reputations for sport. Their children, Titus and Livia, learned early that deceit was a currency more valuable than gold. In public, the Domitius family attended festivals, making generous offerings to the gods, but behind closed doors they mocked piety. Priests who resisted their influence soon found their temples mysteriously robbed. Those who obeyed received lavish gifts and silence. Rome, a city of power and politics, often looked the other way, but the common people murmured that the family's downfall was inevitable. One evening, during Saturnalia, Lucius struck a deal with a rival clan's servant. For a handful of coins, the servant poisoned his master's wine, leaving Lucius free to seize valuable estates. The Senate suspected foul play, yet none dared challenge him directly. The Domitius name grew more feared, but with fear came resentment, and resentment in Rome was a dangerous seed. Their villa became a place where shadows lingered longer than sunlight. Servants vanished overnight if they overheard too much. Neighbors avoided walking past after dark, claiming to hear screams from within. Still, the Domitius family dined lavishly each night, celebrating new victories over their rivals, never pausing to consider the enemies they created with each scheme. Their villa became a place where shadows lingered longer than sunlight. Servants vanished overnight if they overheard too much. Neighbors avoided walking past after dark, claiming to hear screams from within. Still, the Domitius family dined lavishly each night, celebrating new victories over their rivals, never pausing to consider the enemies they created with each scheme. Flavia's cruelty was quieter, but no less sharp. She hosted banquets where she humiliated guests, forcing them to beg for her favor to avoid social ruin. She made alliances only to break them later, leaving former friends in disgrace. It was said she collected people's secrets like others collected fine jewelry, and guarded them more jealously than gold. The family's arrogance reached its peak when they cheated a powerful general out of his inheritance. The general, unable to accuse them openly without proof, waited patiently, biding his time. His agents began to slip into the cracks of the Domitius household, learning their habits, charting their weaknesses. The game of shadows had gained a new player. Titus, drunk with overconfidence, began openly mocking senators in public. His words, once carefully calculated, grew reckless. Livia, too, overplayed her charm, attempting to manipulate a man whose loyalty to Rome outweighed personal desire. Both siblings failed to see that their family's name was becoming not just feared, but hated, and hate in Rome was a slow-burning fire. The first crack appeared when a bribed magistrate turned against them, leaking records of Lucius's illegal trades. Though Lucius silenced him quickly, the damage had begun. Rumors spread through taverns and baths that the Domitius family's fortune would not survive the year. Merchants they once crushed began to form alliances in secret. Soon, the general they betrayed struck from the shadows. One by one, the family's allies were exposed for corruption and arrested. Their debts were revealed, their contracts voided. Guards loyal to the Senate raided their warehouses, seizing stolen goods. For the first time in decades, the Domitius villa fell silent at night, no music, no laughter, only whispers of fear. Lucius tried to rally what influence remained, but his offers of gold were refused. Flavia's poison-laced words lost their power as people no longer feared her. Titus vanished into the slums to avoid arrest, while Livia fled to the countryside with stolen coin, abandoning her parents. The empire that had taken years to build was collapsing in weeks. The Senate declared the Domitius lands forfeit, redistributing them among Rome's loyal citizens. Their villa, once a symbol of wealth, was stripped bare and repurposed as a public court. The family's name was scratched from monuments, as if Rome itself sought to erase their existence from history. Lucius and Flavia lived their final days in a modest, crumbling home, avoided by all. They blamed the world, never themselves, for their fall. They died without ceremony, their bodies burned without offerings, their ashes scattered without care. The streets that once feared them now spoke their names only as a warning to the ambitious. And so, the House of Shadows faded, not with a blaze, but with a whimper. In Rome, power was fleeting, and those who built it on cruelty were doomed to watch it turn to dust. The city moved on, as it always did, but in the corners of taverns, old men still told the tale of the family who ruled through fear and fell through their own greed.